Hello, good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Inspired Thoughts. Kimberly here with her Starbucks. Yay! I apologize. I'm a few minutes late this morning. I had spider trauma that I had to work through out here in my backyard. I'm such a little girl when it comes to spiders. I don't know about anyone else out there, but I appreciate them. I want them to live a long, healthy life. I just don't want them near me. So what I felt inspired to talk about today um, is just with regards to living your happiest, most fulfilling, most inspired life. So often people think and women come to me with the idea that they need to change something. Like, I need to be more like this. I need to be more like that. I need to change. It's how a whole, several industries make, billions of dollars with the whole idea of like New Year's, new year, new you. Like, there's got to be some different alternate version of you that you could turn yourself into to live a better life, right? Wrong. Nothing could be more wrong. It is the most false premise you could possibly stake claim on. Seriously, listen to me, please. You do not need to change who you are to live a better life. You don't need to change who you are to be happier, to be more successful, to feel more fulfilled, to live a more inspired life, which is, what I'm all about. You do not need to change anything about who you are. Do you know what you need to do? You need to be more of who you are. And a lot of times especially for women, I think it's hard to take in because we've been raised in a world where in general we've been conditioned to see ourselves through the eyes of others, to be a good little girl, to take care of others, to be the nurturer. And so for many of us, for most of us, I would say, from a very young age, we start to gain our validation through other people's eyes. And whenever you're trying to gain your validation through other people's eyes, you're signing yourself up for trouble, because we can never be 100% what someone else wants us to be all of the time and still be true to who we are. We as humans, we are fickle. And while someone can be the object of your attention for some time, and you can do all the right things and you can say all the right things to feel, loved and accepted and validated through their eyes, it's not the long-term approach that's going to lead to your greatest fulfillment. Your greatest fulfillment is going to come from looking within, tuning into who that is, really getting to know yourself, getting to know what really matters to you, what you're really passionate about, how you want to spend your time, what makes you jump out of bed every day, what lights you up, what sparks joy within you. Get to know those things, get to know who you really are, and then, for, as my mom would say, the love of all that's holy, love who you are. Like, really accept and love who you are. It's so huge. It is so huge, because it's only when you get to know who you are, like really what makes you tick, and then make the conscious choice to love and accept who you are, then you can make the conscious choice to be more of who you are in this world. And I'll tell you, my friend, that is not only the greatest gift you will ever give yourself, because it is the path to living your most inspired life, to living your best life, being in a place where you feel truly fulfilled and honored. But it's not only the greatest gift you can give yourself, it's truly the greatest gift that you can give anyone else around you. And it may not seem like that right off the bat. In fact, if you have lived through patterns in your life of just constantly people pleasing, and having your primary focus be doing and saying what others want you to do and say so that you can receive the acceptance and the love that we all long for. Oh my goodness, I've so been there. if that's the pattern you've taken in your life, well, first of all, it's very common, so don't feel bad about it. And second, just know that it's time to break the chain of that, because it's ultimately only going to be your own acceptance of who you are that leads to the most fulfilling life. And if you have found yourself in that pattern of being the people pleaser, the nurturer, and to the point that you are setting yourself to the side in order to be there for everyone else in your life, and then you come to a point where you decide you need to make change because maybe you're just feeling exhausted, burned out. It's causing you to feel a lack of worthiness because in the back of your mind or at the bottom of your heart, somewhere along the way, you know it's not right. You know it's not right to not make yourself a priority. So when you start listening to that voice, that voice of your, call it your inner being, your soul, your highest self, saying, wait a minute, what about me? As you start to make choices in your life to take better care of yourself, which is exactly what you should be doing, sometimes it can rock the boat within your relationships. And so, in full disclosure, I say it is the best gift you can give to everyone, but sometimes it can rock some relationships a little bit. But here's what I want you to know. Any relationship in your life that is truly healthy and born from a loving place is going to stand strong through any transformation you make in your life experience that leads you down the path of taking better care of who you are. If you go from never taking care of yourself or rarely taking care of yourself and making yourself a priority to starting to make yourself a priority, and you lose friendships because of that, I mean, let's face it, were they really friends? Were they really people in your life that supported you on the level that was the healthiest for you both? And I really want you to think about that, because I've coached a lot of women along the way that were afraid to make changes in their lives that, where they'd be able to be more of who they are, whether it's take on a hobby or work towards achieving some dream, because they were afraid of what, you know, a friend or a partner or someone in their family would think, or they were afraid they would disappoint them. And either they don't take action toward living the life of their dreams, or they like do it in the dark. They do it, you know, behind closed doors where, you know, hopefully it won't step on the toes of anyone that they care about, that's relying on them to be 100% their nurturer and supporter and cheerleader and so on and so forth. So I just really want you to think through your life experience and ask yourself, because I ask myself this every day. Every day I enter into my day and I say, you know what, am I going to live the kind of day that is worthy of being a day in the life of my dreams? And it doesn't mean that there's not going to be, you know, contrast and bumps along the way. Of course, it's part of the human experience for sure. But if you can look yourself in the eyes and say, you know what, I'm going to take steps toward living a life that's true to who I am, and let that be part of your experience day after day. And then just start catching yourself when you say things or do things, make choices that aren't in alignment with who you are, that don't quite feel right, that you're only doing because it would please someone else, where you think it's what you need to do or what you should do to be able to receive the acceptance and validation in someone else's eyes. Let that start to be a red flag. Let that start to be a red flag. Because step one is a willingness to see things different. Step two is just starting to catch yourself falling into, you know, old habits, old patterns. And if you start catching yourself like, oh, I don't really want to do this, but I feel like I should, because if I don't, then so and so may get mad at me. Oh, honey, that's let that start to be a red flag, because one of the most beautiful words in our language is no. And you need to remember that you are the guardian of your precious energy. And that doesn't mean that you don't give that energy out to the world. I mean, for those of us who work toward being aligned with who we really are, when you're tuned into who you really are, you know, who we really are at the core of our being is love and kindness and compassion. So you will find yourself, you know, having the desire to give much, to give freely, but you won't give from a perspective of needing acceptance and validation. You'll just give because you want to give. You'll be there for others because you want to be there for them. You'll never do it because you're seeking something in return. You'll do it because it fuels your soul. And you don't need anything to come from it. You don't need a thank you. You don't need acceptance or validation in return to fill your cup, because you're already filling your cup from within. And that's not to say that you shouldn't also be a receiver. I mean, those of us that have been, you know, kind of nurturers and givers and people pleasers all of our lives, we tend to have a hard time receiving. So I'm not saying don't receive. You should absolutely receive. And there will be love and kindness and compassion flowing back to you, and you should be arms wide open for it. But don't let your happiness rely on it, is really what the key is. So to live your happiest life, I just really want you to know, from the bottom of my heart to your heart, you don't need to change who you are. What you should do for yourself is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the world, is to be more of who you are. How can you be more of who you are? Take the time to tune in. Take the time to quiet your mind and start to really hone in on what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what you're passionate about, what sparks joy within you. You know, all even the little quirky idiosyncrasies that make you who you are. My son Tyler and I just went and saw the movie Ugly Dolls over the weekend on Sunday. And it's a really cute movie if you haven't seen it. And I love that I have, you know, a 6.5-year-old, so I get to go see the movies that as a grown-up we maybe typically wouldn't go see. I don't know, some grown-ups may. But before Tyler, I hadn't seen a whole lot of kids' movies, and now I'm seeing them all, and I love it. And I love how they, for the most part, have a lesson. And so after the movie, we always talk about what the lesson is. And he came away with 2 lessons from Ugly Dolls. He said, one is, Mommy, you should never give up on yourself. And 2 is that nobody is perfect, but it's our differences that make us who we are and make us special. So let that be encouragement to just to own who you are, to not feel like you have to change it for anyone, to not feel like you have to be like anyone other than who you are. Because what the world needs is for you to unveil more of who you are. So let that be the invitation today. If you were to look at the rest of your day, look at the next 24 hours, say hello to the neighbor's dog. If you're to look at the next 24 hours of your life and say, you know what? If I were going to be 10% more of who I am, if I were going to do one thing that would make me feel like I'm being authentic to who I am and to what makes me happy, what could that be? What could that one thing be? That's what I would love to see you start to plug into the comments here. In the next 24 hours, what's just one thing you could do to honor you? One thing that you could do that would just spark joy in you? Is it catching up on a book you started reading? Is it starting to read a book that you've had an interest in? Is it maybe taking 15, 20 minutes to sit and listen to some of your favorite music? Is it maybe going for a walk that you haven't allowed time for because you're so busy doing things for other people? What can you do to just remind you how much you matter and how important it is to, on a daily basis, spark joy within your own soul? And remembering that when you do that, when you choose to be more of who you really are on this planet and tune in more to who you are at the core of your being, you never have to worry about it being selfish. You never have to worry about it taking away from anyone else, really, because the core of who you are is, again, love and kindness and compassion. And so when you're more tuned into the core of who you are, you will naturally be more loving and kind and compassionate toward others. And it doesn't mean that you have to be at their beck and call, because that's going to ultimately be detrimental to you in the long run as you get burned out or as you get resentful, and it's not a good path to take for any of us. It doesn't mean that we're not there for each other, but be there from the place of being authentic to who you are, not because you feel like you have to, or you feel like you should, or because if you don't, they might get mad at you, or so on and so forth. So the invitation is, what can you do in the next 24 hours to be more of who you are? What can you sign up for? Maybe you sign up for a painting course or a sculpting, class, or, it's different for everyone. What can you do in the next 24 hours to honor you and the beautiful human being, the beautiful, unique, spectacular human being that you are? And just step more into the light of that and who you are, and unveil more of who you are, perhaps even for the world, but at least for yourself. So that's what I wanted to be able to share with you today. I had gone live on Tuesday to share my big news about Women Empowered, and I've had some questions. So before I left you today, I just wanted to touch base on that. If you do have questions lingering for yourself, feel free to type them in the comments. Looks like I see a couple that are on. DT, hi, what's up, sister? And we've got Papa and Nicole and Kevin. Thank you all so much for jumping on. Jen, and Sarah. Hello, Sarah, just joined. So the scrolling doesn't always work so well for me to know who's on or any comments. So I'll try to kind of keep an eye on that. So if you have any questions, but what I had shared on Tuesday, just to give a bit of a recap, was something I've been working on for quite some time. It's a platform called Women Empowered. So fellas, I do adore you. I love you. And I'm so thankful you're on this work. Hi, Sarah. So thankful you're on this earth. We appreciate you. But I've felt a call in my heart to create a platform to serve women. And it's called Women Empowered. So if you think of the acronym WE, it's all about the fact that we are all in this together. We stand stronger together. It's based on the fact that we all fall and we rise. We cry, we laugh, we stand strong. We are fierce, we are beautiful, we are loving, we are nurturing. We, Women Empowered, are all of these things. And we are mothers, we are daughters, we are sisters. And in my mind, and especially in this world we live in, we are superheroes. And I really am looking forward to helping a lovely community of women embrace that. So if you are finding yourself on any level in your life feeling stuck, unmotivated, maybe, as we were talking about today, burned out, tired, fatigued, frustrated, unworthy on any level because you haven't taken the time to fuel that within your life, and you've been so focused on catering to everyone else and living for everyone else, and you're ready to take the step toward being more empowered to take your power back and embrace the life of your dreams. That's the community I'm going to be serving. So a couple of the questions I've had, one was the masterclass that you get for free inside Women Empowered. It's called the 4 Key Steps to Living Your Most Inspired Life, and it is pre-recorded. So the question was, do you have to be available on a certain day and time to be able to catch that masterclass? And it was pre-recorded, which means it's on demand. So once you join Women Empowered and have access to our members area, you actually have the course there for you. And in fact, not only is it on demand, but you can start and stop. And this platform that it lives on is called Kajabi. It's an amazing, super intuitive, easy to use platform. You could watch, it's an hour, so you could watch 10 minutes. If you get called away or you have to step away or you got to go put clothes in the dryer or whatever, come back and it's going to, even if you log out and log back in, it's going to pick up right where you left off. So it makes it really easy. It's always nice if you can set aside an hour to move through it, and it does have what I call a play sheet with it, not a worksheet. No work, it's all play, but just to help you follow along and take some notes for yourself, just to make sure you get the key takeaways from the master class. And then I actually had the question of, will I take requests for workouts? So as many of you know, I've been teaching, fitness and yoga for over 25 years, since I was 10. And I will take requests. I mentioned this briefly on Tuesday. I will take requests as long as it is in my wheelhouse, which means, as much as I love Beto and Zumba, I am not a trained Zumba teacher, so I cannot offer you a Zumba workout as part of the ongoing workouts I'm going to offer up to this community. But I could probably find someone who could, if that's what you really want. But other than that, anything that's in my wheelhouse that I'm trained to do, I'm more than happy to offer up anything that you would like. And I also wanted to let you know who this is for. This Women Empowered, it encapsulates what I call the wheel of well-being, where we are going to focus on well-being and happiness from a very holistic place. So yes, there's the physical. That's why I want to be able to offer you some movement inspiration on a regular basis. Whether you choose to take me up on it or not, it's completely optional. But there is, of course, the physical. There's the mental, intellectual. There's the emotional mindset perspective. There's also the spiritual, the social, which is the connection that comes from the community, which is huge. And then environmental. I've done tons of research on how our environment can affect and shape our day as well. And so there'll be lessons from all those different areas from the wheel of well-being. That's what makes up Women Empowered. Each month there's a theme, and within the theme I'll offer up a life lesson, which is in the form of a live coaching call. So there'll be a bit of a lesson. It's part lesson and part Q&A, so that we can have some dialogue around the topic. And the idea of having a theme and the life lesson all connected is allowing us to harness the power of focus, because our ability to focus is incredibly powerful and can help us make progress in various areas of our life. And I've had a couple women reaching out and have been jumping in as well. So thank you. I wanted to say that. Thank you for those who have jumped in. Some have jumped in to do the monthly plan. It's $19 a month, and of course it's one of those deals where if it's not working for you, you can cancel anytime. And a number have jumped in for the annual, so it's $19 a month or $190 for the year. So if you do the year, you get 2 months for free. So I so appreciate that level of trust for me as your coach, as I call myself your chief life strategist. How do you like that? I totally made that up, but it has a ring to it, so I'm going to go with it. But I really appreciate the trust you've placed in me, and I'm going to put my heart and soul into doing everything I can to help you further down the path of living your most inspired life. And I can't wait to get in and get started. We're doing our kickoff call next Wednesday. This is for women who are ready to rise. I'm all about, I'll take a picture of it. I have, as I wake up from my bed and I look at the wall in front of me, I have a square frame, and in it are the words "Rise and Shine," because I believe we are made for that. So no matter what has happened in your life that has caused you to maybe close off a bit of who you are, you can rise from that and shine who you authentically are onto the world, which again is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and the world itself. So I'm looking for a handful of women who are ready to rise and shine, to be empowered within this community. So it is the Women Empowered Soul Tribe. So if you are feeling like you are ready to rise, you are ready to take your power back, to claim your worth, and to live the life of your dreams and be supported and held lovingly accountable by this community who's going to ensure you stay on track to taking great care of yourself and taking steps toward living your most inspired life, you have found your soul tribe. And so if you just go to inspiredwithkimberly.com/we, W-E, that's going to take you to where you can find out more information and get signed up for Women Empowered. So if you sign up before Tuesday, because Wednesday is our kickoff call, you have to sign up before Tuesday. You're going to get, in addition to the masterclass that's inside the membership, you also get the Life Boost, the 7-day template. So I provide a guide that's several pages long to just provide you some information around 7 simple things, not to add to your to-do list. I know it's long enough already, but just to help you, again, harness the power of focus and create priorities in your day. And nothing takes more than a couple of minutes within these 7 small practices I encourage you to implement for the next 7 days. And so you get the practices, the why you're implementing them, and then 7 days worth of templates as a just a bit of a checklist to make sure you're holding yourself accountable and staying on track. And I promise you, if you do those 7 days or even beyond, link a couple 7-day stints together, you will not only feel a boost in your life, but tremendous positive impact. The feedback I've gotten from that has been really, really wonderful. So that's inside the membership as well, inside the Women Empowered community. And then if you sign up before Tuesday, I also had put together my Fierce, Fit, and Fully Inspired 21-day challenge. And that is inside the community as well. And for those that sign up by Tuesday. So that is an additional bonus you get for taking action. And I'd love people who are willing to take a leap of faith on themselves. I've done it many times over the course of my life, and consistently am rewarded for taking a leap of faith when it's on myself, and I'm heart-led when I take that leap. So I want to reward those who take action. So if you join by Tuesday, then you get that 21-day challenge as well. It's just 15 minutes a day, a bit of a motivational video message for me at the beginning of each week. And then 21 days is a combination of kickboxing, yoga, and just body weight only strength training, all doable, all multi-level. Each week kind of builds on the week before. So it's completely doable, no equipment necessary, no experience necessary, and had a lot of fun with that one. So that is yours if you join me inside Women Empower before Tuesday. And then one other thing I wanted to offer up, and I don't think, well, this isn't embarrassing at all. I had something that I meant to bring out. It must have been the spider trauma at the beginning. I was traumatized. You should have seen this thing. It was like, okay, it was like this. It wasn't that big, but it was like, I'd give it a quarter size. Like, it was at least as big as a quarter. That's a big spider. That scared the bejesus out of me. So I think it threw me off. Not only was I 3 minutes late, but it caused me to forget, and I'm not going to take the time to go get it now. But if you join Women Empowered before midnight tonight, so it's Thursday, hopefully you're catching this either live or sometime today, Thursday, because you know what? Because I know some of you do catch the recording of this late in the day. I'm going to say before midnight tomorrow. So tomorrow is Friday, and it is the 10th, 2 days before Mama's Day. If you join Women Empowered before midnight tomorrow, I have some beautiful inspirational journals, and you will receive one of those in the mail as just a thank you again for taking the leap to take care of yourself, take better care of yourself, and live your most inspired life, and let me be part of the journey. So it'll be your journal to just take whatever notes along the way, to be able to journal anything that you might be struggling through, so that you can connect with us inside the community and let us hold your hand through that, and also to jot down any insights or aha moments you have. Those can be incredibly powerful, and I always write those down because I like to refer back to them, not only to share with my mentors and coaches and such, but just to refer back days, weeks, months later for an additional boost of inspiration anytime. So if you have any additional questions about Women Empowered, keep it coming. To close out the message for today, and I haven't seen this in the comments yet, so I'm counting on you to add this in the comments. I want to hold you accountable to this. I'm looking for you to add in the comments one thing you can do in the next 24 hours to honor yourself, to be more of who you are, to be more authentic to who you are. What's one thing you could do in the next day that would be only because you want to do it, not because it's something that's on your to-do list, not because it's something that you think others need you to do or that you should do, just something that you want to do because it would feel really good to do it. So I'm looking for you to add that in the comments, because I promise you, when you add that in the comments, you, by sharing from your heart, you're going to inspire others. It's just how it happens. So let me hear that from you, because that's the invitation. The invitation is to tune in to what sparks joy within you, claim that, own it, love yourself for all the uniqueness you bring to the table, and then make the conscious choice to be who you are in this world. You know, to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something different is the greatest accomplishment, as Ralph Waldo Emerson shares with us. And then, of course, the privilege of a lifetime is to be who you are. So let's work on that. Let's work on that. So add into the comments the thing you're going to do in the next day to be more of who you are. Just a few percentage points more, just 10% more of who you are in this world, and let it shine. So that's what I have for you today. If you have questions about Women Empowered, keep them coming. Feel free to send me a message or post it in the comments, and I'll be sure to provide any answers or clarity necessary so you can decide if this might be a good path for you to take. So I will look forward to our paths crossing again, either next week on our kickoff call for Women Empowered, that's Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, or on Thursday when we come back together for Inspired Thoughts. So I hope that you are having an absolutely amazing Thursday, and I hope it continues to be just one of the best days of your life. I am sending you much love always.